What's up, guys? Big Sean here. Again, we're going to talk turkeys today. Today we're going to talk about our new friction call, our new pot style call, which comes in either slate or glass. This call is very unique compared to other ones on the market. I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to show you some of the sounds that it can make and replicate. So the first one we have, the standard, is just a purple slate it's an acrylic body pot call, but it's coated in our rubber material. If you guys know from our duck and goose calls, I like to incorporate different materials for durability, for sound. On this, it's for durability and for grip. A lot of times we're wearing thin gloves in the springtime, or if it's raining a little bit, it's hard to get a hold of these calls, and sometimes you drop them, fumble around with them. So it's on there for grip, the rubber is, and it's on there for durability. Really going to add a lot of durability and longevity to this pot call. Sound wise, the sound is going to be the same as if it were just the acrylic pot coming out of the sound holes and a tone board inside. So the sound's coming from that. The rubber don't do anything with the sound on this deal. But here's some sounds that the slate is going to make with just a regular hickory striker. Each call comes with a hickory striker, which I think is just the best. We offer a graphite striker sold separately to get a little bit higher pitch, but I match each striker to each pot and slate surface or glass surface for the best sound. Believe it or not, each striker sounds different on each piece of slate. When you get a slate call, it'll come with a little piece of like Brillo paper, kind of keep it roughed up, keep your texture roughed up on it. And when you get a glass one, it comes with a conditioning stone. Same thing, you want that rough texture. So here's a regular hickory striker on the purple slate pot call that we offer here at BSCC. Now with a pot style friction call, there's different ways you can hold it, make it work. I was taught by a good friend of mine in Pennsylvania, Bill Ziering, owner of Cody Turkey Calls. Been a friend of mine for a long time. He makes the best turkey calls on the market. He taught me how to run holding the striker bone to bone. So the best way I think to do it, it's not a tutorial, I'm just kind of showing you real quick, but make sure you hold the end of that striker against your bone there. And a lot of guys will close their finger down on here or hold it like this. I don't like to. I like to keep this finger open and make sure it rests on that bone, on that finger right there. When I'm holding the pot, take my fingers just like this, hold it, get a good grip on it. And another thing to keep in mind, the tighter you squeeze the pot, the tighter you squeeze this, the sound changes. Like, so when I'm doing the little purrs and cuts down the center, I'll use the center of the pot, but I hold this tight. It creates a different kind of sound. If I were to hold it loose, okay, you can feel, watch as I start tightening my hand up. It does change the sound, so that's something you can play around with too. So here's some sounds on the purple slate. I'm not going to be able to tell on camera maybe how loud it is, but the main thing for friction calls is for volume. Get that bird to gobble at you, get that bird to come. Good on windy days, and good, of course, for the guys that can't run a mouth call. Each pot call that you play around with kind of has a sweet spot on it. On most pot calls, it's toward the outer edge to get that squeaky, high-pitched sound, beginning part of the yelp. And then toward the center is kind of the part we used to use for the purrs and cuts, kind of a lower sound. As you can see on here, my marks are pretty straight. When I'm operating a pot call, a lot of guys you'll see make a circular motion with it. I don't like to, because the way I was taught, if you run a straight line, you keep your wrist stiff and don't bend it like this, keep your wrist stiff, then your sound's going to stay more consistent because you're not doing a loop-de-loo and it's not messing up the slate. So I like to run it bone to bone on my finger, run a stiff wrist, and just move the whole thing down, keep a consistent sound out of the call. Oh, it hurts my ears. And if you want to do, that's another time you can bring your finger down if you want to do those purrs. That kills my ears. I use a friction call maybe 20% of the time, whether it's a boxer or slate. Most of the time I'm a diaphragm guy. I run diaphragms most of the time. But if you're having a windy day or you're having a hard time getting that gobbler to strike up and gobble at you, get a friction call out, chop at it real hard, get that bird's attention. Sometimes you can almost shot gobble them into making gobble at you. So kills my ears. That's why I'm not going to keep doing it. My dogs are going to go deaf. But so that's some sounds on the slate. The other one we are offering this year is a glass. And you can kind of see, you can obviously see through that there. When you get these, I'll have one section roughed up, plus you'll get a conditioning stone with this. The glass is going to be a little bit higher pitch and a little bit louder, more ear piercing. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but that's the way it's going to be. And again, I like to keep a stiff wrist, bone to bone, don't close his finger down, and just run straight lines. Get that sound consistent. Oh my gosh, that kills my ears. This thing has a ear-piercing sound. With the acrylic body and the rubber coated on the outside, man, this thing is friggin' loud. Now, another option we offer, I'll be selling these separate, the graphite tip striker. All of them have a hickory striker itself with a walnut end piece. The sound's coming from the hickory. I think the wooden ones, just the regular hickory ones, are good for anybody, and it's all you'll probably ever need. But there are some guys that want a little different sound, and you can get that with this carbon striker sold separately. I don't know if you'll be able to tell in here, but it's got a little bit different sound, a little bit louder. Anyway, that sounds good, and it's got a little different frequency in it, but I still think the regular hickory striker is good as anything, and that's all you'll need. Hopefully that'll get the birds to gobble for you. Now I think the slate, especially this purple slate that we're using, I think it has more of a turkey sound. Sounds a little bit softer, more natural sound to it. But it doesn't always work, and the glass is going to be a little bit louder, and it might get that gobbler to hit for you. So again, like I've talked about before, it's kind of like a toolbox. You want to have a little bit of everything in your arsenal, in your vest. You want to have 2 or 3 different mouth calls, maybe a couple different friction style calls, something that's going to make that bird gobble. You got to locate them, and if you can hear a bird gobble, you can pretty much kill them or figure out how to kill them. So again, here's another thing I like to do is keep the end of the strikers clean. You can use a little piece of a Brillo pad or some piece of sandpaper, because a lot of times at the end of these strikers, the slate or graphite will end up building up and it kills your sound. So I always like to clean the tip of my striker. I know that's not a lot of things guys do, but I like to do it. But again, here's the slate, the purple slate rubberized pot. I think this sounds more like a turkey. You can get quiet with it if you want to do some quiet stuff. again, kills my ears. I can't keep doing it. But if you're looking for something loud and aggressive, get those birds a gobble, check out our pot style friction calls on our website. It's www.bigseanscalls.com.